In our previous class, we have explained number of predefined string method in Java. And I have also explained most important 15 predefined string method in Java. Now today, we will create an example with this green color predefined method. So character add, substring to uppercase to lowercase stream and value of method. So let me show you what is our today's problem statement. So once I click on this run button, system asks me enter your first name. So as a user, I can make mistake like first given some space. Then let's say my name Arun. A I have given in small letter. R U in capital letter, N again in small letter, again I have given some space. Then once I enter, so system asks me enter last name. So my last name is Hazra, Hazra. So I am making some again space, H A, then Z in capital letter, R in capital letter, A. Okay. Now we have to create a program so that first system will remove this unwanted space. Second, it will create a proper formatted name like A always be in capital letter, then RUN in small letter. Then there will be a space and after that your last name, and always your last name first letter always be start with capital letter, then rest of the other letter will be in small letter. So let me click here so you can get the exact output. So see, the exact output is coming that all the white space is gone. A is written here as a capital letter, then RUN in small letter, then there is a small space, then again all the space from the last name is gone. H will be printed here in capital letter and rest are in small letter. So let's try to check how we can implement this. So I have already created a class string method example 1 under com.demo.presentations package. Now if I double click here, so here I have given the definitions of the class or our problem statement. In our main method I have created two string variable first name and last name, and also I have created a scanner class instance, and with the help of this scanner class instance I am taking two input from user, that is basically his first name and last name, and that will be collected under first name and last name string variable. And finally best practice, I am closing this scanner instance. Now our first challenge is done, that is basically taking input. Now what is our second challenge? Second challenge is that we have to create a user defined method. So where we do that? So basically we have to do that just after the close statement of main method. So here we have to create a method. Now let's say this is our method. The method name is get formatted value. Formatted value of what? Formatted value of name. So we will take the string parameter and the variable name or parameter name, let's say name. Then our method start here and end here. So our method is created. Now first challenge is that remove unwanted space if provided by user as an input. So here first we have to create a logic so that we can remove the unwanted space, and we know that this unwanted space will be removed using this stream method of string class. So we will use this stream method to solve our first challenge statement, that is basically remove unwanted space. Now always remember, when you try to use any string method, you should check the null value. So what is this null value? Null value is, that is basically absence of any object. Let's say in this name parameter I am not passing anything, okay, or this is a null value type of things, okay, the existence of this is not there, then it will throw error when you try to use any string method for this name value. So always try to use a null check when you try to create or use any string method. So how you can check that? So you can simply check that this name is not equal to null. If it is not equal to null, then under this if statement, this is your statement start, then you can end your statement here, right? So let me do it properly. Yeah, so your if statement start here and end here. Now let's say user enter his first name like this. So this is basically with some space, A is in capital letter, then R small, then U capital and N small. Okay, so first our challenge is we have to remove the space, right? So under this if block we can create like this a string variable. Okay, and let's say it is a temporary name variable where I am trying to trim the name part. Name means the value that it will be passed, like ARUN with some space. Okay, so once I trim this one, so it will basically return me this type of value. So it will remove this space and finally give me the exact word without space. So that's why my first challenge I have done here, and I also written this one in the comment sections. Remove unwanted space if provided as an input or in input. Okay, now what is our next challenge? Our next challenge is that each word, that is basically maybe first name or last name, will be set with first letter in capital and the rest of the letter in small. So I can set this comment here like this way. Now let's understand first what we will do. First we will create all these letter for this word in a small letter, then we will try to pick the first letter and then we will make this first letter as a capital letter. Okay, so how we can make this ARUN in a small letter? So we will use two lowercase method of string class. So we can make something like this. So this is our temporary name variable where basically my value is collected and this value is first time trimmed, that is basically no space. So now my value is like this, and this value to lowercase, that's mean this will be converted like this, all are in small letter. So once I make this in small letter, now my next aim is to make this A in capital letter, right? So how we can do that? We know that using the two uppercase we can make a letter or a character in a capital letter, right? But how we can take the first character? I don't need all character to be in capital letter, right? I only need the first character to be in capital letter. So first we have to pick the first character. So for that we will use character at and int index. Index mean first we will try the first letter, that's mean index will be 0. So we will use this method character at 0. And the syntax of this statement will be something like this. First we will create a character variable, that is basically first letter in character. Okay, then the temporary variable or temporary name variable where basically we have collected a small letter name. Then we will try to pick only this A with character at 0 because 0 positions is our A. So this first letter character will collect only the A value based on this statement. Now we have to make this A in capital letter. So we will use two uppercase here. Now if you go to this Excel, so you can see the method is written like this way, and this is basically written a string type, not a character, right? So definitely we have to create a string variable, then we will make that value in a capital letter. So to make the character to string, so we know that there is a value of method, and instead of int I, if we pass a character, so that character will be converted into string, right? So now we will use this value of method first, then we will use the two uppercase method. Now you can see here that I have created a string variable, that is basically previous one is first letter in character. Now I have created another one first letter in string, and using this string dot value of method I am passing this character that is collected here like small a, and that's mean this small a will be converted in string and that will be collected here. Now I can convert the value small a into capital A using two uppercase method. So our next statement should be first letter in string, that is basically this one, is equal to this dot to uppercase. That's mean it will now convert small a into capital A. Always try to save using Ctrl S. So once it is done, now think about the next statement. So I have already created A in a capital letter and that is collected under first letter in string variable, right? Now I have to append RUN this value after this A, right? So how I can get only this RUN value? So that's mean we have to again create another variable that is basically for other letters. Other letters means run, because a already there and that is already set in capital letter. Now this other letter run, how I can get that one? So I have already created other letter string variable, and this total value is available under this temp name, right? So I can use temp name dot another method, which is basically our substring. So you can see here the another method substring, where it's take from where we need to begins our string. So we know that our first letter start in the index 0, then this will definitely r will be start with index 1. So we can use the substring method with index 1. Why 1? Because r is start from 1, right? So if I make this one, so that's mean it will return me run. So now you can see the first letter of string I got as a in capital letter, and other letters, that is basically run, I am collecting from this method, right? Now I have to concat, or I have to add the first letter and other letters, then I will get a exact result like a in capital letter, then run in small letter. How we can do that? Now if you check this excel, so there is another method which is called concat. So what it will do, it will basically concat first string to second string. So we will use this concat method to add a and run. Now how to do that? So we will simply use this type of syntax, that is basically our first letter, this is nothing but capital A, and with this we are trying to concat other letters. So that's why I made concat method, and under that I have given other letter, that is basically run. So it should be then look like this A in capital letter, then run in small letter. Now we have to collect this one in another string variable that will be returned as a method value. So we can create a variable just next line or the first line of this method. Let's say this is a return value, so I have made this class, variable name as redval. Then under this redval we will try to collect the value. The value means the formatted value. Then we can simply return this redval. So here we can make a return statement, and that is nothing but our redval. So you can see here that under if block we are trying to return this redval, still we are getting an error. Why? Because we have to make a return value outside this if block, right? So simply we will make a return null just outside this if block. Now what is this return nulls mean? So if you check this method, so you can see that under this method we are trying to check the name. Name means this parameter is not equal to null. If it's not equal to null, then only it will perform the total logic, right? And based on this logic we are trying to return the red vals mean the formatted value. But let's say if it is equal to null, we are getting a null value for this name, so that's mean it will not go inside this if block, right? So that's mean the outside of this block we have to return something, because this method is basically a string return type. So that's why we are trying to return a null value if these conditions gets fail. So you can make the return value just outside the if block, no need to create any else part. That's mean anytime we are trying to call this method, if this condition satisfied, then only the logic will be calculated and it will return the exact formatted value, else always it will be return a null value. Now you can see here that I have only explained this method with my first name Arun, but think carefully that this method is not basically taking the first name. It can be take first name, last name, middle name, anything, right? Because I have make this method in a common way, and that is the reason we have to use the method. The next statement is that we have to join these two input and finally make a space in between that, and we have to print that one. So how we can do that? So under this main method we have to print the first name and last name in a proper format. So definitely we have to create a system.out.println statement. Now we will call this method two times, once for first name and second one for last name. So this is my method, and here I will pass the first name. So where I collected this first name under this variable, right? So if you check here, I am actually calling this method from here with the value first name. Okay, then I can again call this method with the value of last name, right? So how we can do that? So on the same print statement, I am just trying to concat the other one, that is basically calling the same method with last name. So this is my last name variable where I have collected the entered last name value. So I am simply passing this one. So now you can see here I am calling with first name, I am calling with last name this method, and this method will give me the proper formatted value for first name as well as last name. So if I make anything like this, it will return for first name like Arun, and second time when I pass with the last name, that is basically Hazra, so it will basically return me the Hazra value. Now the statement, if you check here, we need a space between these two words, right? That is basically between first name and last name. So how we can do that? That is very simple. We can make another plus, and under this we can create a double space or a single space in between our quotes. Right now our everything is done. Now let's run this one and try to check this. So if I run it, so you can see here it first say enter first name. So again the same example, I am trying to make some space. Now let's say ARUNN in capital letter, then again make some space, enter. This is the last name, again some space, HAZRA. Okay, now if I enter here, see the exact format is coming now. So this way you can create and use number of method available here in the string class, and you can create your program. So anytime you can reuse this based on your needs. Hope you understand the use of string method. Let's meet in the next class.
I believe this video has helped you to understand about the topic. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, click on the bell notifications and select all so that you don't miss any video from this channel.